And one of those Snake Island moments in my life was just last summer. And I obviously am not going to share that. But some of my friends know this situation. Obviously, my pastor knows the situation. But last summer was one of the most devastating situations of my entire life. It tops the 4-wheeler wreck, that I've told a couple times now. But it was a Snake Island moment, and you really find out what you're made of. You find out where your faith lies. You find out where you're rooted, because in those Snake Island moments that I experienced, everything is questioned. Your faith is questioned. Your lifestyle is questioned. Everything is questioned. And when you go through that Snake Island moment, you have to find where you're rooted, and it will be revealed to you. And if you're not rooted in the right things, those snakes will consume you.
All right, everybody, before we dive into today's episode, we have some exciting news to share.
That's right. The Casting Faith podcast has officially partnered with
First Form,
your go-to for the best energy drinks, greens, protein bars, beef sticks, and much more to fuel your fitness and wellness journey.
Whether you're hitting the gym or heading out on the water or just trying to feel better every day, First Form has you covered. It doesn't matter if you're keto, if you're vegan, whatever diet you're on, they have you covered. Think premium protein products, top-tier vitamins, and even these delicious energy drinks that fuel this podcast.
Here's the best part. When you shop through the link in our bio, you're not just investing in your health, you're helping the Casting Faith podcast and supporting us to bring you more content.
So go ahead and check it out. Grab what you need because they have you covered, and let's tackle this faith, fitness, wellness journey. Whatever you're on, this is the stuff that will fuel you. And let's dive into today's episode.
I challenge you as a believer, let that power get out.
Blind people receive their sight. People have been carried in. We're healed. Nobody touched them. Nobody laid a hand on them. We just praised the Lord and spoke the word of faith, and God began to heal the people.
Here's a fish.
Yeah, let's go!
Oh my gosh, he's a pig.
He landed inside.
He kept me from Scott. Look how massive this is.
The Casting Faith podcast.
Push on.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the Casting Faith podcast. Yeah! What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in and picking us to start your day or your lunch break or your evening, whatever you're listening to this. Thanks for tuning in. We got a show for you today.
Yes, we do.
I don't really know because Charlie's got the plan, but I know that we have a show and it's going to be exciting, and I hope that you enjoy it. And let's get into it. What's going on, man?
Blesses your day, man. It's been going.
I'm 37 now, dude.
Wild, yeah. We both had
The big
birthday.
3-7.
The big 3-7. You're 50.
Oh, yeah, sure.
No, I'm kidding. 37. You're pretty much 40, though.
That's crazy.
You're 40.
That's crazy.
Oof.
That's crazy.
How do you feel?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't really know.
I don't know.
Just feel the same.
I know, because we both celebrate our birthday in March. That's weird, but
Yeah.
cool. You know, we both did our birthdays in March, and this was the first year I was like, meh. You know, it's just another year. I'm in the year of our Lord, though.
33.
33. So
yeah, my wife just turned 34 last week.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting older.
Yeah.
So that was something. Did you guys doing anything special? Did anything special?
Yeah, we went to Bass Pro Shops after we recorded the last week's episode, and got some more electronics for the boat. And got some safety equipment, all the requirements. You know, you got to have a certain amount of flotation devices and throwables, and the boat came with a fire extinguisher, so we got that. But
Sweet.
some other things, and just hung out. Yeah, man,
It's exciting.
Went to the Farmer's Rail.
Oh yeah.
Cuyahoga Falls. Have you ever heard of it?
Are you talking about the
Like
burger
a butcher
joint?
shop. It's
Oh.
got burgers. Yeah.
I've not. I've heard of The Rail, the burger shop in Fairlawn.
Oh no, not the rail.
No.
It's the Farmer's Rail. It's like downtown Cuyahoga Falls.
I bet you that's a slamming burger.
Yeah. So
I want to try it.
It was really good. Sunday after church, we went there. It was solid.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And just as a little bit of humor, we're actually still here from the first episode. We haven't gone and done this yet.
But by the time you listen to this,
it's so funny.
You don't always have to break the fourth wall. You just play a little. No, it's kidding. I'm kidding. No,
everything you see is an illusion, including the moon in the sky at the night.
Speaking of the moon, we had a blood moon recently.
Yeah.
And a full moon. And a lunar eclipse.
Or the night before last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever this is out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was cool. Different. Which signifies, the blood moon is a signification. That's not the right word. The blood moon is a sign of the end times.
Well, yeah, it happens all the time.
I know, but like so many will happen in the, no man will know the hour and the day.
Yeah.
But it is a sign.
I'm always like, I always question that stuff because these things happen all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm always, that's where my like analytical self steps in. I'm like, no, the blood moon actually happens a couple times a year, actually. So,
well, no, it's really called a harvest. It's called a harvest moon. So, but yeah, and so
time to harvest some fish,
man. For real, for real. There you go, brother Jason. That one was for you.
Yeah. Where's that button at?
It's gonna be. Hey, you found it. Yeah, man. I'm excited to get out there and get fishing. I know April 4th there is going to be trout in Wingfoot. They're putting, which, man,
I'm not interested.
I'm interested because
in a little 12-inch trout.
Yeah, dude, trout is delicious.
Did you ever what day is it? April 4th? Mm-hmm. All right. Would you rather?
No,
let's start that early.
Okay.
Would you rather fish for a 12 to 16-inch rainbow trout or fish for a 35-inch rainbow trout?
Well, that season.
It's April 4th. That season's still in. That's until the end of April.
The answer is both. For this specific circumstance, though, I don't agree with this thing. And maybe I'm going to get hate for this. And maybe it's because I don't fully understand it. I've never understood.
It's for fun. That's all.
I've never understood why we dump species
to die
in reservoirs. Just see your death.
Yeah.
Like I've talked about this before, but out by my house, Little Turtle Pond, it's meant for kids to fish. They do this too.
Yep.
Almost every year, they have a weekend where they dump hundreds and maybe thousands of trout into this little pond that there's no running water. It gets hot. They can't survive in this pond, but they spend our taxpayer, no, not tax, but our, taxpayer money
DNR
to dump a fish that can't live in this body of water into the water just for a few days of fun and entertainment. And for Little Turtle Pond, you can't even keep the trout. So they just end up floating later. And so it just never made sense to me. And why we're doing that in Wingfoot, it's the first time that they're doing this in Wingfoot. So it's exciting. It's exciting in that this will probably be the only time that I go and catch fish in Wingfoot and keep it to eat it. Because there's a bunch of tires at the inside at the bottom of Wingfoot, and there's allegedly there's like some chemical runoff from Goodyear that was dumped there.
Yeah.
And so
the place is gross.
I wouldn't eat the fish out of there. That's where I go to sport. That is where I caught my PB bass though.
So I've told this story before, but I used to work for the city of Charleston, West Virginia. And I just looked it up to see if they still did it. But I worked at Cato Park in Charleston and for the Parks and Rec department for the city. And every year they had in the swimming pool.
So dumb.
In February, they had a trout release of 300 pounds of trout. And I just looked it up and they're still doing it. So
why?
The description says, join us for a weekend of free fishing at Cato Park swimming pool. 300 pounds of trout will be added to our pool for your leisure. Take home what you catch. Please come out and take advantage of this great opportunity. So, or listen, hold on. The behind the scenes of this is the cleanup, which was my job. And so when spring sprung, There's dead fish in there that hadn't been caught yet.
This is such a West Virginia
This
thing
is
to do.
the community swimming pool.
So silly.
They all hang out in the deep end, and so like down by the diving board, it's like cleaning up dead fish and
Or
so gross.
it just doesn't make sense. Like, or you could release these into the Grand River and give them a shot at life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
I wish there
Put
was
them
a
in the
picture of
lakes.
this.
Why are we doing this?
My other friend that worked with me, he was my roommate back then, but he's a cop now. He still works for the city of Charleston. It's pretty crazy, but he doesn't have to clean them up anymore. Now he just monitors.
I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like, this
It's
does
crazy
not,
that they do it.
does not make sense. And if you're just trying to have a fun, like, just give away the trout. Give away the 300. They're all dying. Like, all of them are dying. Most of those are being wasted. What do they do with the chlorine filled trout? What do they do with that?
The chlorine filter. Seriously.
What are you doing with
Yeah,
that?
seriously.
Where are we putting them? Are they going to be fertilizer when you scoop them out? Or are they just going in the dump? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No way there's a video.
Oh my gosh. It's so silly. This is like unbelievable. I can't believe what a waste of my fishing license money, you know?
Here it is. There's a video of it.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
fishing.
We'll put this up.
They're fishing in the pool. This is where I work. Dude. They're all fishing at the diving section.
Oh my gosh. This is the most West Virginian thing ever. Oh my word. You got to put this on the
Somebody
screen.
YouTubed it.
Oh my gosh. This
They're
is
literally
ridiculous.
trout fishing in a swimming pool. Well, they got their net.
What a waste.
12 feet.
This makes me actually angry.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it really does.
This is so funny because I worked at this event.
So
It
put
was so funny.
alternative idea. This is kind of along the same lines of conservationism where we were talking about with Pete, how, you know, they put in Colorado, they put the wolves back in the or they're planning on putting wolves back in the population just to have wolves, and it's going to decimate the deer and the prey animals.
Yeah.
This is a waste of resources, and it doesn't make sense
So
for the
funny.
big picture of
Look,
things.
he's got him roped off,
I
like tying him up, putting him back
can't
in the pool. The chlorine.
Ridiculous.
Oh
Ridiculous.
my gosh. West Virginia.
I'm
baby.
not a PETA guy at all. I'm on the side of the hunting and fishermen community, and I just
The Hunterman?
the hunterman and fisherman community. That should be a t-shirt. That's a sick t-shirt. Anyways, I just think maybe put them somewhere better. You know,
Yeah.
like maybe, or instead of stocking 300 pounds of trout in Wingfoot, put more. Put like more crappie in there, or put more
I think they do.
perch in there.
The
Do
way you're
something.
saying more.
Yeah, because like then that will drive in more. That was the
I was going to say something, but I wasn't sure if I heard that right. You sound like Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse talking about Hunterman.
Oh my gosh, it just seems like the waste. It's such a waste of resource and a waste of spend and mismanagement of funds is what I would call that.
Yeah.
And I guess you can make the argument, well, it brings more people out into the community and it brings people, it's an attraction, it brings people to fish for that day. But you know what? Why don't you take care of the people who are already in the community? And we have convinced, how many fishing poles have you given away in your life? You know, like this is something that I do. And for a lot of my friends, I've done this. Like I've always fished my whole life, but I will go and invite somebody to go fishing, and I will go get a $30 reel from Walmart, and I will hand them or I'll buy a new reel and rod for myself, and I'll give them my old one, and a fisherman was born. You know what I mean? Like I've done that a lot.
Yeah, actually, I have my bass fishing journey started like that.
Yeah.
So it was when I first moved up here. I mean, I'd fished and stuff before, but when I first moved up here, I started working up in Cleveland, and one of the engineers I got close with, and he was like a younger engineer, probably like 25 years old or maybe a little older, but he fished bass tournaments around. That's how I know about the local bass tournament community as well, as through him. But I was like, man, I'd love to go fishing. Like I don't know a whole lot about it. I just use spinners, and so he's like, here, I got actually like. So we went out, like he had his truck and all his stuff loaded. He didn't have his boat with him, but he was ready to go fish a tournament or something with his dad that weekend. And he took me out there and he handed me this like $200 rod.
Yeah.
No reel on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bait casting rod. And he's like, here, use this, and then get a bait caster with this certain gear ratio. And he gave me a bunch of EWG hooks and tubes and bullet weights. And he said, this is what you do. He showed me how to Texas rig a tube, a 3-inch tube. And that's what got me started. And, and it was like the coolest thing ever. It's like, dude, this is the exact rod you need for this. And I still have it.
Yeah.
I still use that rod for that purpose.
And that's what it's about. That's how you build a community.
It was a Falcon rod.
Falcon brand. That's how you build a community. You don't build it by dumping 300 pounds of fish that are just seeing their death for no reason. You do it in different ways. Like the fishermen will you don't have to worry about the community coming out. Like there is a presence already and they are building new fishermen. They'll make new fishermen. And I'm all about that, man. I know I gave Brother Christian a whole setup once. And he's fished too before me, so I'm not taking credit for that at all. But like I've given him setups, I've given away so many rods and reels, and I think that's a big part of building and bettering the outdoors community. You know what I mean? And so the answer is not dumping a fish that can't survive in a body of water. That's wild.
I got stocking records from the Ohio DNR. From Wingfoot Lake. I mean, besides the trout stuff, that's just like an event. The only thing they've ever stocked there since 2016 is channel cat.
Are you kidding?
That's it.
That's my point.
That's a 444 acre lake. And it was 2016. They dumped 7,800 fingerlings and 9,800 yearlings, and then 2022. And 2024, they dumped average fingerlings like 10,000 each time. So 20,000 channel cat.
Man.
Yeah, West Branch gets stocked a lot.
What about
muskie and walleye?
What about Mogador?
Let's go up to the M's. Mogador Reservoir, channel cat.
That's it?
Yep.
My point is, what are we doing putting trout in these reservoirs? What are we doing? Like, what a waste. If you're going to do it right and put the species that we're all fishing for already. Like, why? Like, I love catfishing. I love all of those fish you named. And I love trout. One of my favorite memories growing up is trout fishing in Pennsylvania at the family cabin.
Hey, Deer Creek, remember?
Yeah.
I told you about Deer Creek. Me and Justin went there catching like 3-4 pounders.
Let's go.
Every time. They stock hybrid striped bass.
Let's
there.
go. I wanna.
That's a electric only lake too, but it's smaller. It's only 334 acres.
I guess my point. This has nothing to do with the theme of our episode, but it's okay. My point is though, when you're doing this, like we're all spending money on our license for these reasons, right?
Yeah.
For conservation, for making the experience better. I'm a believer in paying your fair dues, right? As much as I joke about bad limits and laws and stuff like that, I'm a believer in what my money goes to. This ain't it though.
Yeah.
Like I would rather let my money go to things that produce more fish that can survive and where we're dumping them, and let my money go to producing more fishermen.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And something that's cool, this was a collab we did on Instagram. Jeff Past Designs on Instagram. He's doing something that's very unique and cool where he is, it's called the Indiana Flybrary. And it's exactly what it sounds like. And it's kind of this concept of giving back to the community. And so he's a local artist who builds these boxes that go in the state parks. And so he works with woodworkers, designs these beautiful boxes, and then they fill them with lures and reels and rods, and the people of the community can come and partake and take those things. And it's like a give and take thing.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the concept we were just talking about, where you give out something to a new friend. Hey, here's this Falcon rod, and you want to do this and that, but they're doing this with information and with gear for the community. And I thought that was such a cool thing. And if you want to give to that, like any DNR like that, that's something that our money should go to, is producing more community. And so check out Jeff Past Designs and the Indiana Flybrary and participate in that, because that's something that's worth doing. What's not worth doing is dumping 300 pounds of stocked trout and farmed trout into these reservoirs or swimming pools.
That's crazy.
It's insane. What are we doing?
They still do that.
It's the
every year.
like that's
It's
such
crazy.
there's no order to that. That's just chaos to me. And it's frustrating. Like that blows my mind that that's a thing. That's crazy. And it is funny though. And it's really on par for West Virginia. Like to do something like that.
Yeah.
And would I fish it? Absolutely. I would go there.
I never fished it.
and fish it. I have no interest though to be shoulder
actually-
to shoulder with a bunch of fishermen.
I actually have a picture somewhere. Maybe I'll throw it up, but I have a picture of me in that pool cleaning up. I was in like the high boots and stuff, cleaning
That's
up
so-
the nasty junk in that
That's so
pool.
wild, man. It just does not.
It was 2009. I worked there.
That doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
It has no order.
That was my funnest job I've ever had. Was working for the Parks and Rec.
That if I wasn't a teacher, I would really want to do. I would want to be a park ranger. I think that would be the funnest thing.
Yeah.
I would love to be a park ranger.
You're gonna enforce the laws.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna enforce the bag limits.
I follow the bag.
But,
think-
but will you enforce them?
You're
Or are you
seeing-
gonna be like, dude, I didn't see that?
No, you're seeing a transformation in real time. To be honest, like
Yeah.
the more educate, and this is a consequence of the podcast. Like
with Pete.
no, not just Pete, not just Pete, but just learning, researching, and doing more.
Yeah.
Getting more understanding of why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
I'll joke.
Wildlife management.
I'll always joke about it, but man, it really is. Pete was a big part of that for sure with the wolves and all those things, and how the environmental impact studies are done. Learning a little bit more about that, but man, the rules are there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, I would like Kendall to be able to fish for steelhead one day.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want an extra one in the freezer, I want them to be around. You know, so like they make sense. So yeah, I would definitely enforce
It's just funner to when you go steelhead fishing to not have to carry 50 pounds of
disagree.
fish.
I disagree. You're gonna, once your bench and your
when I'm walking
weightlifting
8
skills,
minute miles.
Yeah, but I wonder if you stay on your fitness journey until next season, you're gonna be like so much better shape that that's not even gonna be a thought.
Yeah,
you're gonna be excited no matter what.
No, I'm excited even being fat.
Anyways,
I never cared.
But order is important. Like that's my understanding on all of the regulations and rules. But I do not like when things are mismanaged. That's a big pet peeve of mine is when things aren't managed properly. And because you have a community of people pouring in their livelihood and their money into this,
Yeah.
So do right by them, It shouldn't be an afterthought. Let's punt fish in a pool. Like that's so nonsense. That's so out of order for me.
You know what's crazy is some of the steelhead that we stock actually come from West Virginia.
Yeah.
One of the fisheries down there, hatcheries.
Yeah. That's cool. That makes sense though. It's all in the same area, kind of. We're all really close. But yeah, I'm a big order guy. As much as we joke about
Big order.
Big Mac.
McDonald's.
I saw it.
Speaking of big order at McDonald's, so I am still on my diet, but
I don't know the buttons.
I went to. I was just telling this to Corey last night, but I went and I'd fasted breakfast and lunch, and I really was ready to break my fast. It wasn't for spiritual fast; it was just fasting, just what do you call it? Intermittent or whatever. But I was ready to eat, and I was like, like to maintain weight, I can eat 2,500 calories, and so I got on the McDonald's app, and I got my free fish fillet. I love McDonald's fish fillets, by the way. My free fish fillet.
That fish probably comes from that pool in West Virginia.
Yeah. And then I got the buy one, get one for $1 double cheeseburger. So I got 2 double cheeseburgers, a fish fillet, and a small fry. And I just felt like garbage after that. So.
I had the same thing.
But it was so good.
Not the same order. The other day.
I hate how they took the McDoubles off the buy one, get one for $1. I don't need an extra slice of cheese. Just give me the regular McDouble.
It's silly.
That's the only difference.
No,
one
but
extra slice of cheese.
We
$1.
we were really rushing for lunch, my wife and I. And I was like, we had to go to the dollar store for some craft. And we were on a break. And I was like, well, we don't have time to heat up the food that we brought. So let's just go through the drive-thru at Burger King. Bro.
Why would you pick Burger King?
It was right there.
It's
It's all we had time for.
Oh.
And I was like, it sounds okay. Let's get Burger King. And I got a bacon king sandwich or something.
Wrong.
And dude, as I was eating it, I was like, what am I doing?
Man.
What am I doing? And I felt so heavy and sick all day over that.
I don't know about up here, but in West Virginia, like back in high school, Burger King was legit.
Yeah, dude.
Like the chicken sandwich, the long chicken sandwich, that was like the go-to.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, and the fries
I
were
was talking
so
about
good.
it. Talking about it with David. Every once in a while, I get a craving for it, and then every time it's like
A letdown.
immediate regret.
Because you remember high school.
It's immediate regret, and I regret it. And I probably won't do Burger King again this year.
It's been several years since I've eaten at Burger King.
But it used to be really good. All of it did. All of it. And, this isn't a political statement, but lots of places are moving back to cooking with tallow because of the problems with seed oils and how our bodies can't really digest it and all these things. It's not the healthiest option.
Where have I heard tallow before?
We use tallow. I probably talked to you about it.
Oh, no. Maybe she listens.
Skincare, my wife.
No, it was Jamie. Jamie said something about putting tallow on your face or something.
I do every day. Every day. My wife makes whipped tallow for skincare. It's really a thing. In the History Channels alone, one of the guys, he killed a muskox. He ended up being the winner, spoiler alert. But he killed him.
Darn.
He you need to watch that show. We're going to recreate Alone for our YouTube channel.
On Mogador?
On Mogador. It'll be great.
Except I'm sleeping in the boat.
But that's fine. Anyways, he used the tallow because it got really cold. It's in I think it's like the Arctic or Vancouver or something. And he would use the fat from the animal as lotion for his gloves and for his hands, and it would heal his hands. There's like healing properties in it. Wow. And so not only can you cook with it, but it's great for skincare. And it's something that we used to do all the time until like big seed oils came in and became profitable. And so we use it for that. But RFK is our director of health or whatever. And so he's pushing to get rid of the seed oils, and Steak and Shake switched already.
Oh yeah.
And lots of restaurants are following that path of switching back to tallow, which means that the fries are going to get better. The flavors are going to get better, and it will never be healthy, but it'll be better for you than what we've had for the last 20 years, and so it's exciting that they're making some changes that'll, that every little bit counts. But again, bringing it back to not just craziness.
Big
orders.
He's a big order guy.
Big order. But yeah, I'm not doing Burger King anymore, man. That was tough. And I should have known. And I feel the same way about Taco Bell too. It's an every once in a while thing.
I hate Taco Bell.
Every once in a while.
Taco Bell's just never worth it. The price for what you get.
They got an app too. It makes it worth it.
It's awful.
Which is crazy. Everything's got an app.
Yeah.
I got a story.
Okay.
Right? Speaking of craziness.
Let's hear it.
This one's pretty wild, all right?
I'll give you the song. All right, go.
That's probably the drums. I'm not even going to press buttons. That'd be right. Okay. Have you ever heard of... yeah. Have you ever heard of Snake Island?
No, I've heard of Poop Island.
Poop Island? Not that island. not that island. Snake Island, okay? There's this island off the coast of Brazil.
Wait. Brother Robinell is at something like that.
Yes, we're gonna talk. He's not involved in this story, but this is probably the same.
Was it the
island.
same place?
Maybe we're gonna learn. But there's this island off the coast of Brazil that no one's allowed to step foot on.
Oh, then it wasn't there.
Okay, not because of some top secret government base, or that it's anything special or anything hidden at the bottom of the reservoir like Magan. I'm just kidding. But it's nothing like that. It's no one's allowed on it. Yeah. Yeah. No one's allowed to step foot on it, not because it's some special place or anything like that or anything's hidden there, but it's because it's completely overrun with venomous snakes.
It's crazy.
The island is full of snakes.
Where do they come from? Birds. Probably.
And it's not it's called the golden lancehead viper. And the island is full of these deadly snakes. One of the most deadly snakes in the world. And when I say overrun, I mean it's like everywhere you step, there's going to be one of these vipers, right? It isn't, oh, here's a snake here and there, just watch out for it. It's
estimated like the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's one of the most venomous snakes in the world. And everywhere you step, there's a snake. Everywhere you look, there could be a snake. So no one's really allowed on it. It's estimated that there's 1 snake per square meter. That means every step you take, boom, snake. To your left, snake. To your right, snake. Above you in the trees, snake. In the water, probably snakes. More snakes all over this island. And these aren't some like chill gardener snakes. Like every once in a while, there'd be one that kind of gets into the kitty college. It'll come in through the back door or something. And I'll have to pull it out and throw it into the yard. And they're harmless little garden snakes. It's not like that. They're one of the most venomous snakes everywhere, all in an island.
It's like somebody's nightmare.
Dude, yes. And so that's crazy. It's everywhere you step, there's a snake. And it's not some gardener snake. These are so venomous that they can melt your flesh.
Jeez.
Like their venom can melt your flesh. It'll shut down your organs in minutes. And so the Brazilian government straight up banned people from even coming onto the island. They can't even go on the army or on the island, even so much the Navy won't even go near the island because there's so many snakes on this one spot in this island. It's wild. And so, man, would you go near it?
No.
How do you feel about snakes?
I don't mind snakes. I actually, growing up in West Virginia, we used to catch them for fun. You'd be walking around in the woods and you got these 6-foot black snakes in the trees above your head, and they'll fall out of the tree right in front of you, you know, like it. And we just have fun with them. Actually, when I was dating my wife, she had never seen anybody catch a snake before. And me and my youngest brother, Matt, we were like, oh, we got you covered. Like, we're going to go find a snake. You know, we're like looking for black snakes. And then we had a nest of copperheads. There was probably like 6 or 7 copperheads in one thing, and it was just like, that's a poisonous snake. You get bit by a copperhead, you're going to the hospital.
I'm not afraid.
So I was trying to show off to my wife by trying to catch snakes, or my girlfriend then, but now
she married you.
Yeah. It worked.
No, dude, I'm not a big. So
got that Riz.
My cousin Greg, he's gonna come on the episode one time and tell his sometime soon and tell his testimony. But he has this side hustle where he's going to try and breed these snake, not this kind of snake, but it's like a special breed of snake that could be pretty well lucrative if you do it right. And he was like, you want in on this? And I'm like, absolutely not. My wife would never let me. Number one. Number two, I'm kind of more on the side of the only good snake is a dead snake. Not about the snakes.
No, I know Darren and Shanna raised snakes, like what kind of the pythons and stuff. And they had like, Darren was real, he still is probably, but like breeding different types and making like look different. I mean, there's some cool snakes that come out of it, cool looking, but I would never buy one.
Brother Gary
Foley, I would never. His whole basement was full of snakes.
Also did that too.
Why would you do that?
I'm just like, that isn't my life. But that's like this island, man, in the middle of nowhere is just full of these deadly, for what?
This actually says 5 snakes per square meter.
Oh, so it got worse. Yeah, man. So they're just completely overtaking this island. That's terrifying.
Yeah,
like talk about chaos. Like, why would you want? Nobody will want to go there, right? But it's just crazy to think.
That's like a nightmare for people.
Sometimes, though, like life. Sometimes it feels exactly like that, though.
Wow, it's right off the coast of Sao Paulo. I was actually probably pretty close to that.
Yeah,
when I was in Sao Paulo.
It's pretty wild.
It's crazy, man. 5
snakes per square. So everywhere you step, there's 5 snakes.
Oof,
that's crazy. But it got this whole story of this wild thing got me thinking. Man, isn't that life sometimes? Like you wake up one day and boom, there's chaos just like that. Maybe you're not walking. Maybe you don't get out and into your yard and there's just thousands of snakes there. But bad things happen all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Unexpected, chaotic things can happen. You can plan, and be disciplined, but every once in a while, chaos is going to break out. Order will be disrupted. And it really sent me down this thought. Man, and the peace in your mind can sometimes just get destroyed in a moment. And you're surrounded by problems and stress and things that are completely out of your control. This happens all the time. We know so many people, even right now, who are going through situations that are completely out of their control, that their life of peace and blessing was just turned on its head in a moment. And that happens.
Yeah.
But the answer isn't to lose faith. The answer isn't to just abandon all good things and just wallow in your chaos. But there can be order in your chaos. And you can cast faith in your chaos. And it's in those moments where this stuff happens, where your instinct is to panic. If I get on my kayak, in fact, I have a snake story. We talked about it with Justin, I think, where we were in our cabin in Pennsylvania and we went canoeing and we went a little bit off the course and we ended up running straight into a tree that was forked in the middle of the water, and I put my oar into the tree roots and the roots started moving and it was full of snakes. It was a den of snakes in the water. Wild. And it terrified me, and it was a moment of I can't imagine being off the coast of Brazil and just like, oh, here's an island, I got to go to the bathroom. and everywhere you step, there's one of the most poisonous or venomous snakes just everywhere. Yeah. That's a moment of chaos that was unexpected. Nobody can explain it. Why are they all there? Nobody understands it. They're just there. And so sometimes life just throws you into chaotic moments. But here's the thing. In that chaos, guess what? God's still in control. Mm-hmm. God's still in control, even in the chaos. And when life feels like Snake Island, okay? When life feels like that and your surroundings are uncertain and fear starts to creep in, and anxiety starts to creep in, and depression starts to creep in, and all of these things start to creep in, Jesus is still king of that situation.
Yeah.
He's still with you. Your feelings do not dictate who he is in your life. And man, I felt that so strong when I was preparing for this episode, is just, man, I know, because I've lived it. I've had my Snake Island moments where things happened and you just didn't expect it. And you did everything right. You prayed, you fasted, you were doing all that you could do and all that you knew how to do the right way. You planned, you prepared, you were executing, and then life happens and unexpected things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to you in this episode to just help you understand God is still in control. You have no control.
Right.
But God is in control, and he's still king of that situation. So the question is, do you believe that? Until you experience the chaos and until you put your faith to God in those moments of chaos, do you really? This is where you find out if you really believe what you believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, in one of those Snake Island moments in my life was just last summer. And I obviously am not going to share that. But some of my friends know this situation. Obviously my pastor knows the situation, but last summer was one of the most devastating situations of my entire life. It tops the 4-wheeler wreck, that I've told a couple times now. But it was a Snake Island moment, and you really find out what you're made of. You find out where your faith lies. You find out where you're rooted, because in those Snake Island moments that I experienced, everything is questioned. Your faith is questioned. Your lifestyle is questioned. Everything is questioned. And when you go through that Snake Island moment, you have to find where you're rooted, and it will be revealed to you. And if you're not rooted in the right things, those snakes will consume you. Mm-hmm. And for my experience, if I wasn't rooted in the Lord, in church, if I didn't have my friends around me, if I didn't have my pastor to answer the phone calls at midnight and talk to me, if I didn't have those things, if I wasn't rooted, man, I easily could have just blown away in the wind and been taken by the snakes. Like, it was such a devastating Man, it lasted for months, 3 months or something like that. And it was every day was a battle. And man, it was, you really find out what you're made of and where you're rooted in those moments.
Yeah, man.
And you don't want to find that out if you're not rooted in the right things.
Right. And so planning is necessary and order is necessary.
Yeah.
And all of those things. But man, it's hard. It's hard. It happens to everybody. If it hasn't happened to you, thank God. But moments will creep up in your life that will test every bit of who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's then in those moments when fear is slithering all around you, God is still with you and he's got you covered. Mm-hmm. Because that's where we're headed today. That's where he's here in these moments where he is uncertain. And those moments creep up and you go through seasons like that. But God is with you and God is for you.
Yeah, amen.
And so, man, I want this episode to be encouraging to somebody because God is for us and he's with us even in those moments. A little time has passed since this, but we went to a midwinter youth retreat here in Ohio. The Ohio district did a phenomenal job with midwinter this year.
Yeah.
Brother Cody Uptegray, Brother Corey Boyd, Brother Christian Bolgren, the Ohio youth district team did an amazing job with midwinter this year. I've been doing midwinter for like 12 years now. And this was one of the most well-executed midwinters. And Brother Adam Shaw, all the way from Canada, preached a message, and it was like Jesus is king of the dinosaurs or something. And it was based on this thought of when chaos breaks out. And it was this thing where, man, he talked about it, and we'll dive into it a little bit. But he talked about how, sometimes in life, the fear of what could happen is what kind of ruins our life.
Yeah.
We're ruled by fear of what maybe could happen. And a lot of times it's irrational and it's things that probably will never happen. And he talked about this. He gave his testimony on this and then one of his greatest fears did happen. And one of those things that maybe was never going to happen, and it was just a constant fear in his mind, and it actually did happen. And he preached this message on how God was still in control of your low moment.
Yeah.
And everyone has seasons where low moments happen. But I remember when I was a kid, I would have the most irrational fears. Right?
What was Justin just said something about an irrational fear of Donkey Kong or something?
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he played so much Donkey Kong that Donkey Kong Nintendo 64 was a solid game, by the way. But he had a nightmare that Donkey Kong was chasing him. It's like Donkey Kong's it's not real, and so it's never gonna happen. But until Donkey Kong starts breaking down your door and it's here, that's kind of what Brother Adam was preaching about. He had his son was having this fear of T-Rexes and stuff like that. And he preached a masterpiece. He talked about the Leviathan and how it was based in myth, but God was saying this thing that even in these bad moments, I'm still here and I know where you're at and I'm still in control. And Adam preached about his testimony of his wife getting cancer, and his wife's mother had cancer, and it was always since they got married, it was in the back of his head, what if, and this fear and this chaos ruled in his life for so long until the day it actually happened.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it happens. Sometimes there was merit to that fear. Yep. Right? Sometimes that was based in something. But the point is that God is still in control. Even if the chaos happens, he is God of the chaos.
Right.
He's God in the chaos. He's God of order and he's God over chaos. It doesn't matter circumstance and conditions and time and what you're dealing with. Yeah, it matters to you. It's a big deal. It's personal. It happens. And God probably didn't will you to go through all of those things. Mm-hmm. But sometimes life just happens. But the important thing is to stay grounded in your faith when these things do happen, right?
Yep.
And so, man, it's just, I hope this encourages somebody. Maybe you're going, like we talked about last episode, how spring is how spring is here and it's amazing and it's new and everything's great and everything's good. And a couple episodes back, I talked about how everything seemed to be going my way. I've had some moments since then, where things aren't going my way and life happens and bad news happens and life can be turned upside down in a moment.
Yeah.
But the truth is that God still hears you and he's still with you, even in those low moments. So our biggest fears isn't what's happening a lot of times. It can be what could happen. And fear thrives in uncertainty, but Jesus is still king over those things. Jesus is still king over everything. He's king of Snake Island. He's king of the storms. He's king over all the things that we can't control. He still loves you and he still has a plan for you and a purpose for your life. And so all you have to do is cast faith in these low moments and God is still with you. Yeah, and that's kind of what this episode is about today. Romans 3:4 tells us this: let God be true and every man be a liar. This means that fear can lie to you. And if we're not careful, we'll let fear cripple us to not do anything for the kingdom of God. We'll let fear cripple us. The what ifs, maybes, and could be's will box us in to a chaotic moment that isn't necessary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so fear says you're alone, but God says, I'll never leave you. Fear says this is too much. This circumstance is too much, but God says my grace is sufficient for you. Fear says there's no way out, but God says I will make a way out.
Yeah.
And so it's important to know what you believe and why you believe it, because God is with you even in the highs and lows. And so fear makes us forget God's truth sometimes. Our circumstance will make us forget what we know, and we'll go a lot about by what we feel.
Right.
And so I think that's just the point of this episode is I want everybody to understand we can't always go by what we feel and what our current circumstance is. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His thoughts are higher. His ways are higher. He sees our life from a bigger perspective, and we kind of just have to trust in the process. And so chaos and order is what this episode is about. Snake Island.
Big order.
Big orders. Big orders. And so, man, I know you talked about it. I've been open about some of my big moments in life where there's chaos has kind of erupted, and I've talked about it too, and that I know people that can only live for God when there's chaos. They only pray when something's going bad.
Yeah.
And so maybe God does allow it sometimes just so that you're saved, which I don't want to live that way.
Yeah.
Why live that way?
It's rough.
God wants us to live in a way that's, he has a better plan for you. So I don't think it's God's will that you live in chaos, but live in order. Follow the rules, bag limits, follow order.
Yeah, before you become Job.
Yeah. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. But man, God's shown us time and time again. And I can't remember. I think it was Raymond Woodward that I heard on a podcast who talked about when things are going too well, how we get too comfortable and it produces weakness. And so then God will bring a little bit of chaos so that it will refine you and make you stronger. And then stronger you makes good decisions and it brings peace.
Yeah.
But that peace brings laziness.
Yeah.
And that laziness brings bad times in this endless cycle of just life,
Humans.
But that's our nature, and God designed us that way. But the important thing is to just keep your faith. Keep your faith in these moments. It's not what you're going through right now is not forever. There's a new season,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the anchor to our life is faith. I think that's the missing ingredient for a lot of people. You can't control everything, but you can trust in the one who does. Mm-hmm. Jesus walked in the storm. He walked on the storm, and he calmed the storm when he spoke it. And so he didn't stop it first. He walked on the storm.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a little series this summer and see if you can walk on water off the boat.
I don't know. I did see a reel of some guy. It's probably AI, but it was this old man who was walking on, doing this water walk thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the ones in Japan where there's water bridges and they walk really fast over it?
Yeah, there also is that much water on top of something that they stand on.
But this guy was doing some kind of different motion, and it looked like he was walking on water. I'm like, that's probably AI. But it was fun. Ready for our new segment? Our next segment?
Let's hear it.
Overrated, underrated.
Overrated. or something along those lines.
Underrated. Overrated, underrated. All right, we'll call this Fear or Chaos Edition. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's like Joe Rogan.
I don't know that.
Fear
guy.
factor.
Yeah. Fear factor. All right. So here's our topics. This time for overrated, underrated, I'm throwing out some.
You said I don't know.
I don't know that guy. Some fear-related topics, okay? And you're going to tell me if they're overrated or underrated,
Or
if this
worthy of fear.
yeah, or
something.
rational or not irrational. Like if this is something you should worry about or not. Okay.
All right.
First one.
let's hear
This is
it.
a big one. Big order.
Okay.
The fear of failure.
So irrational. And I'll tell you why.
I want to hear.
I am. Here's another thing about me.
New stuff. Push on.
I'm a journeyman, Ohio licensed journeyman maintenance mechanic.
Mhm.
I have an actual journeyman card through the state of Ohio. It just basically says, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He spent the time doing it.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I've found as an industrial mechanic is if you're afraid of failure, and I know this now more so because now I'm kind of like in a administrative role in the maintenance department. And so now I see the mechanics working, I see their work, and I see like their not necessarily flaws, but things that they could grow in. So I found that if mechanics are afraid to fail, they don't really get anything done.
Mhm.
And that was not how I was as a mechanic. That's not how my boss was as a mechanic. And one of the things, actually, we just talked about this last week with my boss. And I was like, man, back when we were mechanics, like we're kind of like almost the same age. And I was like, when we were mechanics, like there was nothing I was afraid to mess up, because I know if I mess it up, it's my job to fix it.
Yeah.
And so if you have a fear of failing, that's because you don't really know how to fix the problem. Like if you like, and this goes not just in maintenance, but like in life, like you can't be afraid to fail because there's always going to be a way to get out of it.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid of the failure. You have to have a mindset of let's try it. And if it works, awesome. If not, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple to me. So,
Man, that's
so
good.
irrational fear.
I agree. And that kind of ties in with the next thing of waiting for the perfect moment. So either way, like the fear of failure will cripple you to do nothing. And then waiting for the perfect moment because you're afraid it's not the right time or not this thing. Or, and
you just got to go for it.
Right?
In anything.
Yeah. So like being kind of paused and waiting for the right timing and moment. I mean, that's a tricky question, but
there's a
lot to unpack there.
A lot of situations too.
I mean, obviously pray about big deals and big important things.
If you've only been dating her for a week, don't propose.
It's not smart.
It's not time.
No, it's not.
That's not what he's
probably
saying.
Not gonna, no. But waiting for the perfect moment. I think that, what's the carpe diem, seize the day, go for it. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to accomplish much.
That's what I tell all the mechanics that come to me questioning like work orders that I've written and planned out. And I'm just like, dude, forget the job plan that I wrote. Just go out and figure it out. Like if you mess up, fix it. Like what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Fix it. If you mess up, fix it. But you know what? You learned something.
Yeah.
You learned that won't work every time.
Yeah.
Or you learned that, hey, I can use that a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think too many times
be bold.
We talked about this too. And it's a big part of why we wanted to do this podcast is that I think God's called us to create and not just consume.
Yeah.
And you're not going to create much or accomplish much in life if you're frozen by the fear of failing or you're frozen by waiting for the right perfect time.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah.
And he talked about it too. Just start, just do it.
So is fear of failure overrated, underrated for you? Or what was it? Overrated, underrated?
I mean, it's a real fear.
Rational, irrational.
It's a irrational fear that I have had a long time in my life.
Oh.
So it's a thing, but it's not
would you say that you would, I guess this is kind of like based on like guidance of your pastor, but would you say that your fear of failure stopped you from getting your minister's license sooner?
I think failure. No, I'm kidding. No, I think that I think I got my license the time frame that God wanted me to get my license.
Sure.
I think the process could have been made easier. You know?
Yeah.
I think the process would have been made easier if I wasn't crippled by what I thought and by certain fears. Yeah. And waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is when God says, and when your pastor says that, and that happened for me. So I feel like I got it right when I was supposed to.
Cool.
Here's another one: trusting your gut instinct. Have you ever I had a moment, man, it was weird, and I prayed in that moment, but I had a moment. I think it was a week ago, and we'll talk about these kinds of things in other episodes. But I woke up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I got chill bumps in the middle. It was like 3 a.m, and I felt something in the spirit, and it was a gut feeling, but like every hair on my body stood up at once, and I just felt this overwhelming presence with me, and it wasn't God. And I've had moments that we can dive into on other episodes. We don't have time in this episode to talk about it, but I knew it wasn't of the Lord, and I prayed, and it went away. But that gut feeling, that discernment, is that an overrated thing? I just don't feel like, if you ever felt like, even on something a little less serious, like going on, they're not going to bite today. Like that gut feeling of the water's not right. It's just not it. Like, do you trust that? Is that overrated or underrated?
It's really situational.
Yeah.
Obviously, like spiritual things are much more rational.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the last fishing trips of 2024, I went out with Brother Ballestero, who's the Florida NAM director, and Brother Christian, Ohio Youth Secretary. We went out steelhead fishing with them. Brother Ballestero was up from Florida, and I said, "Hey, let's go to this spot, the secret spot that we just learned of this year." Like, my gut feeling was the water was coming down and it's going to be on fire. And it wasn't. And then we go to the Grand River, and my center pin buddy that I fished with last year was up there in that same spot that he always was catching them. Every time I'd fish by him, he was always catching them. And he had 2 fish, and he said, "I caught them early this morning about sunup, and maybe an hour after that, and then the water started coming up higher or something like that, and it haven't gotten a bite all day." So my gut feeling was to go one place, and the fish were actually biting at the other. So So sometimes, but sometimes no. No. The gut feeling thing is just, I don't know.
So I guess the better question was, do you trust the gut feeling or you don't?
Again, so sometimes, I don't know. I'm like, everybody knows by now, I'm really analytical. So there's got to be like a thought process behind my gut feeling that makes me commit to it, I think. Unless it's spiritual. Spiritual, I just follow the leading of the Lord.
Okay. Something a little different. Overrated, underrated, scary movies. Growing up,
you should.
I don't watch them.
You should not watch scary movies. Yeah, there's definitely spirits behind that. The spirits that were behind making of that. Do not engage in that kind of content. Yeah. Not at all. Never do that.
the fear of. I think I like thrillers. To be honest, I don't like gory, supernatural.
Pray for you.
Supernatural stuff. Yeah, we're gonna do Expedition Mogador. Don't watch it. No, I'm teasing. But I don't know what that is, and I think growing up too, we've made such an attraction out of fear. Like, we grow up and we go. I don't do this, but I did when I was young. We went to like Halloween, what are they called? The haunted hair rides and haunted house. It's stupid.
I will not partake in this. It's not, I don't have any biblical reasoning behind it. It's just something that I'm convicted by. So I'm not saying this to say anybody's right or wrong, but
for you.
For me and my family, we do not participate in Halloween weekends at Cedar Point. We don't participate in the celebration of Halloween. The candy, like, we'll go buy the candy because it's on sale, like, because candy's good.
First one,
but we don't participate in giving out candy. Like, none of the. Just for me in my house, I just don't believe in any of that stuff and want nothing to do with it.
So, man, it kind of goes into like I teach Bible at our school, and I teach it to my kids too. And I taught scriptures to them. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, love, power, and sound mind. Yeah. And I taught them one recently because Kendall struggles to go to sleep. She gets afraid of random things that are irrational and doesn't make sense. Yeah. And like this morning, they were really afraid of the thunder. Got into our bed early. Like, okay, it's not a big deal, but I understand that you're afraid, you know? And so when you're afraid, say these scriptures. And, one in Psalms where it talks about what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. It's a simple, small scripture. I said, say that, and then say, for God has not given me. And they both memorize these scriptures, and they say them before bed. Nice. And they both tell me that it helps. And
it's awesome.
So I think God does not give the spirit of fear. So if we're producing the spirit of fear, that's not of God. And so don't partake, you know. That's just me though. You know, for entertainment and fun, I get it. I understand it. I get it. I get the appeal. Yeah. And everybody likes to get thrilled out every once in a while. I get it. Thrill seekers, jumping out of airplanes, doing roller coasters. It's all the same thrilling experience. But I think it's just important to stay grounded. Yeah. The fear, is this overrated or underrated? Or is this rational or irrational? The fear of public speaking.
I used to be kind of on the fear of that. Well, my voice just cracked like I was 13.
That happened to me last episode. Or this episode, I can't remember. Sounded like Mickey Mouse.
But as I've gotten older, like, the more I just don't really care what people think of me. So
I don't care what people think of me.
What was that?
I'm sorry. First form energy drink is wearing off.
I have another.
I think I might. I care, I think, a little bit about what people think.
Yeah, I know that I'm not good at, obviously you guys see like the intro commercial, like I struggle with speaking, period. Like it's hard for me to get sentences together and speak. Like who was that in the Bible? Moses, right? Or, no. Yeah, Moses was not a good speaker. That's me, bro. I relate with you, bro.
I think it's just something you get better in time. You just got to practice and do better. But yeah, it's a real fear. I think that was, everybody laughs. You laughed at me a couple episodes ago because I hated public speaking. Yeah. It terrified me. I'm such a natural introvert where the thought of speaking in front of people crippled me when I was a young person.
It's funny because like I'm not an introvert. I don't think. Would you think that I'm an
you're
introvert?
Very outgoing.
Okay. So, which is funny that I don't like speaking in front of people. Like I'm not afraid of it. I'm not good at it. So yeah.
I would shut down. Yeah. I remember my first sermon that I spoke, Brother Carson gave me like a 5 minutes of fire opportunity for the youth group. I wrote this in pencil on lined paper. And I was
that's hilarious.
And I get like 3 sentences in and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to start over. And I started over. It was horrendous.
And now you're a preacher.
And man, so like the fear is real, but the only way to get through that is to just do it more often and trust that, you know, you got to trust God. We just watched the Moses Prince of Egypt movie at the school. We kind of end our series on that with that and make it a special thing. And there's a scene in there where God's like, who made man's mouth? And it's like this powerful moment when Moses is arguing with God. And it's like, man, you got to trust in what he wants you to do, not what you fear. Like he's with you. And that was the point of Moses' whole story is God is with you through chaos of plagues and all the things and the all of the things in Egypt. God was with him, you know? And so it's a real fear. I'm not downgrading it. I went through it and I still go through it. Yeah. And look at us now on a podcast. Who would have thought? Yeah. So that's it for overrated, underrated, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2 more if you want to do more.
Sure.
What about, we talked about this before, but skydiving.
Oh, yeah. We already burned that one out.
Yeah.
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a big no. It's a no for me, big dog. Not happening. Peyton commented on Spotify.
Oh yeah,
and told us about his time and how it was a once in a lifetime opportunity and was exciting and fun. Would recommend it.
I'm good.
I'm good, brother.
I'm good, man.
Don't think
not afraid of it. I'm good.
Not right now. I don't think this is the time in life to do things like that.
Yeah.
I got 2 little kids at home.
Almost 40.
I don't even think I'd get on an airplane right now, to be honest. All these airplanes falling out of the sky, helicopters crashing in Margaret Reservoir.
I think this is the first year in probably like 7 years that I have got no airplane trips lined up.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to fly, but I probably wouldn't do it right now. Something's up, in my opinion, or we just know more.
Something's not up. It's actually
Something's
down.
going down, and I'm not doing it. I just don't. I'll drive. So that's an irrational fear, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let's talk last cast.
All right.
Final thoughts to this episode. All right. So my last cast is this. Fear is lying to you. You don't have to live under the chaos. You may have to go through it every once in a while, but Jesus is still king even in your chaos. That's the point of this episode, is just to encourage you. Maybe you're in one of the lowest moments of your life right now, and I hope we made you laugh and we brought some peace to this situation if you are. But just understand that don't give up on God. He knows exactly where you're at. He knows exactly what you're going through, and he's here with you, just like he was with Moses through the plagues, just like he was with Moses in the wilderness, just like when he was with you when everything was going well. He's still God of the chaos, and he's with you today. And so my challenge to you is to replace these fears. Even if you're living it and you're going through it, remind yourself that Jesus already won this situation for you.
Yeah. I'll add to that. And I wish I could share.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. I would have to ask permission.
Yeah.
But to say the least, like, I can relate with some things that a lot of people can't because of what I went through this summer. And the most important thing was to continue going through the motions. Even if it feels like you're just going through the motions of church, just do it, because eventually those motions will become real. The motions will become real emotions. And just do the things that you know to do and continue trying to make life normal through the struggles, through the low times. And so in that 3 months last summer, if you didn't know me and you didn't know I was going through something, I don't think anybody would even have noticed that I was going through something, because I was still serving in the youth team. I was still playing music every week. I didn't skip a beat. My life was in shambles, and nobody knew it except for the people that were close to me, the people that I needed to rely on to help. And Brother Charlie was one of those people that just I had to rely on. Some friends, my pastor. So have your close friends near to you. Let them in, be vulnerable. And obviously your pastor is the most important. But just try to have normal life around you in those moments where and maybe this is situational for my situation, but I think any fear, any problem is kind of relatable. Like, just try to have normalcy. Yeah. In your day to day. Make those, go through the motions of church and stuff. But if you have to force yourself into going through the motions, those motions will become real emotions eventually.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good. And just know God is there and he's with you. And so,
it's not the end, dude.
No, it'll
be over. It'll be over.
That's the coolest thing is, man,
it's a season.
It's a lie. Chaos is not forever. Order is coming. Big order. God is bringing order. He'll bring order to these situations. Yeah. And so Jesus is still king over your fear, over your struggles, over every Snake Island moment in your life.
Brighter days are ahead.
Yeah. And a new day is coming.
Pastor would always say, last summer, he'd always say, the best days are yet to come. Yeah. The best days are still ahead.
And just keep reminding yourself that,
you've not seen the best days of your life yet. They're still ahead of you.
Yeah.
So keep pushing.
Yeah. Thank you for for tuning in this episode. We hope this encourages you. Even if you're not going through something and you know somebody who is, send this and share it to them. Hopefully this is an encouragement. Make sure you hit the follow button, leave a nice review for us so that we can keep making content like this. Jump into the comment section. Tell us what your biggest fear that you had to overcome was. Give us some stories. Let us know if you've ever had a Snake Island moment. But that's it for today's episode. Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, have a great day. We'll see y'all.
Like, comment, and subscribe.